Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to waste your time, so up front I'm going to tell you 100% what this video is about. I am going to be reviewing the Q3 600 reverse osmosis filtration system that's an under-the-sink system that does not require a tank, so it doesn't take up as much room. So if you're in the market for a reverse osmosis water filtration system, this is going to be a great video for you to watch, because not only am I going to be reviewing the system, but I'm going to be going through all of the parts and things that it comes with, in addition to hooking it up under my sink, because my kitchen is ready to accept the RO system. It's not 100% ready yet, so the great reveal is not going to happen this time, but it's ready to accept the RO system, and it's a very simple system to hook up. So I hope that if you are in the market, you check it out, and if you're not and you just want to see how an RO system works and is installed, check this out, because again, this is a very simple system to install that pretty much anyone can do by themselves. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the kitchen is not 100% done yet, but it is ready for us to install the reverse osmosis system under the sink. And the one that I'm installing today, Simpier sent me, it's the Q3 600. It's an under-the-sink reverse osmosis filtration system that doesn't require you to have a pressure tank. You can actually add one if you like, but if you don't want it to take up all of that extra room that those pressure tanks take up under the sink, this is the one that you want to go with. It comes in at a great price, but more importantly, it is extremely simple to install. Let me go ahead and show you everything that it comes with. So when you open your box, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have your Q3. You're going to have a power adapter. You're going to have a small faucet that you attach to your sink. You're going to have a hose for inlet water. This is the water coming into the unit. You're going to have an outlet water hose, which is the hose that's going to attach to your faucet. And this is a waste water hose. This is going to be used in order to backflush all of the bad water into your drain. In addition to that, it's going to have a small kit in order for you to install your drain hose, and a whole bunch of other little gadgets in here that we'll go through as soon as we need them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we even start with how to put things together, let me show you the working side of this machine, or at least what I call the working side, and that's the filtration system inside of it. Before you install it, we need to go ahead and take these out. Now, once you've taken off the tape, ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple to take these off. I'm taking them off and putting them back on so that you can see how easy it is to replace these filters once you need to replace them. All you have to do is unlatch this right here. Very simple. Move this off, and look at that. It comes off. This is pretty much dummy proof because it only goes in and comes out one way. Once you put it back in, it's the exact same thing that you did, but in opposite. You line them up, you put it in there, and you're good to go. And the little brackets even have the RO on them for RO and the CF for the CF. Let's take the CF out. It's the same thing. See that? Very simple system, especially if you're working under your sink. You don't have to bother with taking all of those additional filters off in your legacy models. Just two to worry about. The filter life expectancy of this, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit over 1,000 gallons. However, I use a TDS monitor or a ppm pen, which is a parts per million of total dissolved solids, to see when I need to change my filters personally. So only because this says that your filters are rated for about 1,000 gallons or so doesn't mean that it can go farther, depending on how clean or dirty the water that's coming into this unit is. It's also rated for a minimum of 15 psi, which is pretty low for this machine. I was surprised that this machine can go as low as 15 pounds of pressure per inch for your inlet pressure. Normally, a city utility has about 40 at a minimum and usually goes no more than 60 psi, but this can handle anywhere between 15 psi all the way up to 60. Now, it's obvious that this does require some electricity, and it does have a panel in the front where it lets you know if your filters need to be changed or not and when you can reset it. The electrical hookup, as you can see, is right here in the back. And that's how simple this unit is, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here that we have our wastewater. So this is going to be our red hose. This is going to be our inlet water, which will be our white hose, and our outlet water will be our blue hose. Ladies and gentlemen, the next portion of this video will be me installing this unit. And I was doing this early in the morning. So you're going to notice that I'm kind of like whispering, but I'm going to bring the volume up as high as I can so that you can easily hear what I'm saying. Okay, before we bring this under the sink, we have to do a little bit of prep work. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook up to our current plumbing the feeder valve that you see pictured right here. Now, the reason I don't have it in my hands is because since I have new plumbing down there, I went ahead and installed it already, but I'm going to show you how it goes in there. It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. All you need is literally one small wrench in order to tighten this up and to tighten the other piece that goes to the inlet valve. And here you can see the inlet valve installed. And what this does, ladies and gentlemen, is it allows you to go ahead and connect your sink to your water supply in addition to the hose that goes into your reverse osmosis system. So now that we have our feeder valve in there, I like to call it a splitter because it splits the direction of the water. We have our inlet hose right here. Now, with our little package of hardware that we received, there's this little compression fitting that goes on this hose. And all you do is you just put it on here, okay? And then this right here is going to connect to our feeder valve, or our splitter, as I like to call it, and it's going to allow water to be fed into our RO unit. The outlet and drain hose both don't require any fittings, so you can leave them as such. All I did was take off the little zip ties that came with them, and we're good to go with those. You're going to need to get this ready, and we're going to have to go under the sink here in a second to install our little drain kit. And you'll see how this works. Is extremely simple to operate. Do not let this intimidate you. All you need is a small drill bit, about anywhere, I would say from 1/4 to 3/8. I went ahead and got a 3/8 drill bit. And of course, we're going to need a drill. This is the only hole you're going to have to drill, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not going to be into something hard. It's just going to be into the drain. But you'll see how we do that here in a second. Now, the last thing that we need to set up before we go under the sink is our faucet. And it comes with this faucet adapter right here, which is what accepts the hose for the outlet water, for the water that you're actually going to drink. So all you do is you just snap this on as such. See that? You snap it on as such. And in order to make sure that this doesn't come off by mistake, they provide you with these little gadgets right here. And forget my terminology, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't have all of these parts memorized. Remember that when I installed my last RO system, I did it once and it was almost 8 years ago. But these little guys, I never knew what they were for. And I found out by reading the instructions that what you do with these is you place them just like this, right here. And it keeps this from getting banged loose by mistake. So now there's no way that this is going to be pulled off. If it is, it has to be with a great amount of force. And now this right here is going to accept your inlet water. We are all set up except for one minor thing, and that's this. These plugs that come in our inlet, our outlet, and our drain, just take them off. How am I going to get this on, ladies and gentlemen? I can't, so I'm going to have to take this off. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to have to take this clip off right here, and then we're going to put a clip up here. We're going to press down, and that's going to pull it off. Okay, and I guess we'll have to save that for when we're under the sink. We're going to go ahead and put this on just as such. My sink already has a hole in it, as you can see, and most sinks come with a hole like that on it. But if you don't have one like that, the instructions actually tell you how big a hole you need to put in there. In this case, it would be a lot smaller than the one that's already provided, but that's not going to hurt anything. You can see it's ready to go on the top side. Now let's go under. And again, ladies and gentlemen, remember that I'm a one-man crew, so I'm going to try my best to show you while I'm down there, but more than likely I'm going to have to do it and then show you. And this is definitely a two-hand job, ladies and gentlemen. So I just actually got this nut on, and now I'm able to twist it with one hand. But it's definitely a two-hand job. Don't let me lie to you. Other than that, though, it's pretty straightforward. Very simple to do. You don't have to tighten it like if it's going out of style. Just get it nice and snug, and you should be good to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and hook up my water adapter and also hook up the hose and leave it loose. Now the kit came with some Teflon tape. I'm going to go ahead and put it around our water splitter right here, where the inlet hose connects to it. Just as a precaution, I also put a little O-ring right there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. And now that I have the hose attached to it, all I'm going to do is use a wrench and go ahead and tighten it, but don't over tighten it. Just get it nice and snug. And now we're ready to put our wastewater plug in our drain. So I decided to get a drill bit that, instead of being 3/8, is pretty close to the diameter of our hose. And that came out to be, I believe this is a 1/4. This is the best part of the drain that I can pick to put our wastewater hose on. It gives me room to put it on and no obstructions. So now all we have to do is drill the hole right around where we want it, and it should be just fine. And all we have to do is we just have to get the hose part, this little part, right over the gasket when we fit it in there, and then tighten it up. That's what we're going to do right there. Now when you look through there, you can actually see that it's aligned with the hole. And now all we have to do and we are done with our wastewater. Alright, now we're ready to move our Q3 into place. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we connect the electrical supply to the back. See? And I'm also going to be putting my Q3 in a manner that I can actually remove the filters right here without any problems. As you can see, I'll be able to open this and take it out and remove the filters and put it back on with no problem and nothing getting in the way. So this is not going to be one of those under the sink cabinets that has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all that we have left to do is to go ahead and plug in and secure all of our different hoses. And before we plug it in, let's go ahead and turn on our water supply. I can hear the water. I don't see any leaks, but let me show you this little gadget that I bought from Amazon a long time ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a cloth right here, right? And you see this little sensor right here? This little sensor, even if a little drop of water gets on this, if it gets wet in any way whatsoever, it's attached to an alarm right there that is extremely loud. I think it's like 125 decibels. So at any time, if this gets wet enough to get to that sensor through that towel, it will go off and alert us anywhere in the house that we are. Now, it should be full of water. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we plug it in. And we can hear it working. All of the filters are getting worked through. Let's go ahead and turn on the faucet upstairs. I figured that someone would ask, how many watts of electricity would this system use? As you can see here, I decided to hook it up to my OUPES so I can see how many watts are being used when the system is actually on. As you can see here, it's about 114 watts. So this is a system that I would not recommend for a grid down situation. I would recommend it, however, for everyday use. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to show you this. Check this out. Look, whenever it's cold water running through there, it turns blue. Let me see if I can show you better. Is that cool or what? No batteries required. And when you need hot water, it'll turn red. Well, let's check out our RO system first. There you go. Our system is working. Look at that. Let's go downstairs and make sure that we don't have any leaks while this is running. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there are no leaks whatsoever on any of our connections. And the reason, of course, why we need the power supply is because it has a water pump that sends the water through to your outlet faucet. And that's why you're not having to have an actual pressure tank down here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so one thing you always do is you check for leaks all the time. So once I got water from the faucet up there, I came back down here just to give it a double check, and there was a couple of little drops falling from here, from my drain. It has nothing to do with the RO system, but I just wanted to point this out, that you want to catch these things ASAP. So anyways, I took everything apart right here, and I went ahead and repacked it with some putty and some tape, put it back on, and now I'm on the process of rechecking it again. Now I'll check this all day long to make sure there's no leaks. Now so far, this is the only thing that I'm not very happy with the Q3, and it's because it doesn't come with a pressure tank. But listen to this. I have both the doors under the kitchen sink closed, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my faucet. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but you can hear the water pump working. Not a very loud sound, but you can still hear it. Can you hear that? And at the same time, you can obviously hear the drain working. But that's the only con that I find with this system. Other than that, it's working just like it's supposed to. Now let's see what our ppms are like. Let me go ahead, and the reason I was flushing it into this cup right here is so that hopefully the RO water falling into the cup would clean out any little particles that may be in there from dust or whatever. That way we can get a good reading with our ppm, or our total dissolved solid stick. Let's go ahead and put some in here. Set it down. And here is our ppm stick. That's going to tell us what ppm, or parts per million, of total dissolved solids there are in there. Now, for me, I'm not a professional at this, but anything under 10 for me is a great reading. And we'll check my tap water here as soon as we get a reading from our O water. Here we go. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave the stick in there. We've got a reading of 1. That right there, in my opinion, is outstanding RO water. Anything under 10, in my opinion, is really, really good. Let's take a look and see what my tap water comes out at. Here's our stick. And look at that, my tap water comes out pretty darn good. And you know why? I always forget, I have a household water filter. So I have a water filter that cleans all the water that comes into my main house, all of the utilities. And then after that, it comes to my reverse osmosis. So look at that, 128. So having a household water filter would also extend the life of the filters in your reverse osmosis system as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so if you're still here, it means that you're probably interested in getting a reverse osmosis water filtration system. And if you're not, thank you very much for supporting the channel and staying here. I hope it's been somewhat entertaining, at least. So what you see here is the Q3600. And the regular price on it, as you can see, they've already slashed it down to $299 by $100. But they told me that at this time, they've added an additional coupon code, which is WD30, which automatically applies itself at checkout. So as you can see here, if you use the code WD30 from $299.99, it goes all the way down to $210, which I think is a great price. If you're not in the market for an under-the-sink water filtration system, but you are in the market for a gravity-fed water filtration system, this is a unit that I've already reviewed, and I really like this unit. And if you use my coupon code Alaska, it'll take 20% off, bringing this price down to about $190 or so. Now, if Simpure doesn't like this part of the video, that's fine, but I have to tell you what my honest opinion all in all is. If you are on a budget and you cannot afford 200 bucks or 180 bucks, ladies and gentlemen, this is a legacy, what I like to call a legacy RO system. It's one of the ones that brings a tank that you put under the sink. It's a little more complex to put together than the Q3 is, but it's doable. How do I know that? Because I've done it myself. This is a 6-stage system that sells for 150 bucks, but once you use my coupon code, it brings it all the way down to $118.50. This, in my opinion, is the very best bang for the buck. I hope I don't get in trouble with Simpure for saying this, but it's the honest to God truth. This is a great system. It's one of the bulkier ones, older type legacy models, but it does the job. Now, having said that, for those of you that are still here, if you leave a comment under this video that says the word reverse osmosis, just like you see right here, reverse osmosis, you will be entered to win one of these systems. As long as you live within the continental United States, Simpure will ship it to you at no cost to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. The winner will be randomly selected on our next live stream at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern time this coming Friday. And again, all you have to do is have reverse osmosis in your comment, and you have to live within the continental United States. I want to say thank you very much to Simpure for sending me the Q3 to review. God bless every one of you. Best of luck to all of you who enter. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.